Hey, it's Jess. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my August TBR, so all the books that I hope to read in August of 2025. I do have 3 books already planned, and so we're going to talk about those first, and then we'll talk about kind of my plans for the rest of the month and pick from the TBR jar. My in-person nonfiction book club met a couple days ago to talk about July's book, which was wonderful. It's called How Minds Change. We all really enjoyed that book. This month for August, we will be reading Erasing History by Jason Snyder. This is a book about how fascism basically erases and rewrites history so that it follows the history that they want to portray. And given everything that's happening in the current political climate in America, we thought that that was very appropriate. That's kind of what this book club is about, is reading books so we can kind of learn about history, but also give us actionable steps of what we can do to help. So last month we read How Minds Change, so we talked about ways to have difficult conversations and to change your mindset, but also ways to change other people's mindsets in a not so aggressive way. Anyway, it was super interesting. So I'm really excited to be reading that one. For the Buzzwordathon, hosted by Books and Lala here on YouTube, the title prompt for August is the word with. I looked through all of my owned books, and there were 2 books that I could choose. One of them is a nonfiction book called Without Their Permission, which is by the co-founder of Reddit. And while that does sound really interesting, I don't necessarily know if I'm in the mood to read that right now. So I have chosen the other book on my list that I own called Enemies with Benefits by Roxy Noir. This is a book, I don't even know how I got it. I either got it on a Stuff Your Kindle day or it was an Amazon Prime first read. I've had it for many, many years. And again, I don't even know why I have this book. Apparently it's the beginning of a series, The Loveless Boys. There's a family whose last name is Loveless, I think. So basically it's an enemies to lovers. It's a romance. I looked up the synopsis and I don't think that the main character I don't think they gave the name of the main character in the synopsis because it's from first person point of view. Anyway, she talks about how Eli Lovelace has been her nemesis since they started in kindergarten, all the way up to graduated high school. He moved away. 10 years later, he's come back and now is her coworker, and they still hate each other, but they also have the hots for each other. So they end up in a friends with benefits situation. And it's probably going to turn into actual relationship because it's a romance book. That's all I know about it. Don't know why I have it, but it works for the prompt, so that's what we'll be reading. The last book that I already have planned in August is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This is such a tongue twister for me. I don't know how so many people say it so effortlessly. I bought this book in June for my birthday. My brother was visiting and also bought this book, and so we were doing a buddy read. I've talked about this before, but if you don't know, the site app, the Storygraph, is a site where you can log books, review books. It's kind of like Goodreads, but I know it's Black owned, maybe woman owned? I can't remember. But anyway, it's to get away from the Amazon, it's to get away from Amazon, which is what sponsors and Goodreads is under Amazon. So Storygraph. Anyway, that's not about this at all. Storygraph has an option where you can start a buddy read with specific people. You can make it a public one if you want, where when you're both reading the same book, you join the read and you update how far you've gotten. So on page 17, if I have something that I want to say about the book, I put that I'm on page 17 and I write the note. And then my brother can't read what I wrote until he gets to page 17. So it's kind of a nice way to discuss books, but you're not spoiling anything for the person you're reading with because they can't see the comments until they've gotten that far in the book versus accidentally sending a text that's a spoiler. And it's just another fun option and a fun way to read books. My brother lives halfway across the country. He lives on the West Coast. I live in the Midwest. we only see each other once a year, and so we just thought it would be fun to read this together and be able to talk about it. So we'll be reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. As for the rest of my reads, I go back to school/work this month. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to read. I'm also trying to read approximately 1 million library books. And so I'm going to be reading those on and off throughout the month. I'm only going to put 8 books on my TBR list this month. The last few months I have had 10 or more, and while I've gotten through almost all of them, I haven't actually finished all of the books on a TBR in months. And I'm tired of beating myself up for not finishing the books that I put on my TBR, even though I know that it doesn't matter and it's me being mad at myself. I just don't need that stress and anxiety when we're going back to school. So I'm only gonna put 8 books. We have 3 chosen already, so I'm gonna choose 5 books out of the TBR jar. Here's my TBR jar. I just added all of the books that I got from my free little library haul. They keep falling out when I'm trying to shuffle them. Shuffle them? They're not cards. I'm trying to mix them around so that like the new books aren't necessarily all on top. Okay, so we're gonna pick 5. Last month I only picked books that I owned. This month, I'm not going to be as picky about that, and we'll just see kind of what I'm feeling. Because I'm kind of a mood reader too, so, oh my gosh. Trying to pick up just one and it's not working. This one. Sure. Is that right there? Okay, we got one of my brand new books. Even though you saw me shake it around, we got The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. Let me grab it out of the bag on the floor. And of course, it would be at the very bottom of the bag. Okay, The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This is a horror thriller book. It says Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca. It's a supernatural suspense novel set in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence about a remote house, a sinister haunting, and the woman pulled into their clutches. I saw this at a free little library and I decided to pick it up. I had heard about it. I think I've heard mixed reviews, but you know me, I'm for any horror, thriller, suspense novel, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And I had heard of this one and heard things about it, so I decided to pick it up. So I guess this is the first book, technically the 4th book we're putting on the TBR for August, because we already have 3 picked, and this is the 4th. But the first we pulled out of the TBR jar. My table right next to me is overflowing with books because I ordered new bookshelves from IKEA in June 22nd, and I don't know if what even day was that? So it was the last week of June. I spent 3 hours talking to IKEA about my order that was not delivered when it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be delivered on Tuesday, August 5th. I ordered them July 22nd. Anyway, I have all of the books that I've acquired like around me and on the table next to me because I can't fit them on my bookshelves right now, and I don't want to put them on my bookshelves because I'm supposed to have new bookshelves coming. Okay, that was my little rant about bookshelves. Anyway, you can't see, but there's like a gajillion books right here, and it's making it really hard because this is normally where I put everything. Like you can kind of see my right here. It's so tall that they're up here. But this is my notebook to write things in. Anyway, okay. Stop. Okay, I'm done complaining now. It's just, I don't have space to work with, which is normally where I put everything, right here. Now I gotta figure out other places to put everything. Okay, enough of a rant. Here's our second book. I'm gonna try to get way down at the bottom. This one feels like it hasn't ever been opened, but we'll see if that's true. This is the second time I've pulled this book, Audrey Hepburn's Neck. It's on this bookshelf right now, so let me grab it. All right, that took way too long to find, and then I had to like move this giant table full of books to get down to it because it's on the third shelf down. And okay, Audrey Hepburn's Neck by Alan Brown. I know nothing about this book. I got it at my library sale back in 2024, so it was like 50 cents, $1. I can't even remember. There's not a synopsis on the back, it's just a bunch of blurbs. So I have no idea what this is about. Is there a synopsis in the front? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Okay. Reading the blurbs, apparently this has to do with the cultures and such that are in Japan. Modern Japan? I don't know. I saw this. I love Audrey Hepburn. This was an interesting title, interesting cover, so I picked it up. Again, it was like 50 cents or $1. So I don't really know anything about this, but we'll be reading, hopefully, Audrey Hepburn's Neck by Alan Brown this month. Okay, so, got an interesting mix. I don't know if I'm even gonna like that book. We'll see. Okay, here's our third one. We're gonna pick, here's our third one. A Fate Inked in Blood. I do know where this one is. It's right here. I'm finally gonna get to it. A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel Jensen. I bought the sequel to this, A Curse Carved in Bone, I say last month. It wasn't last month. We're in August. In June for my birthday, so I'm excited to get into this one. It's very shiny, pretty edges. This is a duology, The Saga of the Unfated. It's like Norse mythology. Fairies, maybe? Valkyries? I don't really know. But I love the color. I love the cover, and I really like the shiny edges. And so that's why I picked it up. I've had this book for over a year. I think. Close to a year, if not over a year, and I'm finally getting a chance to read it. Love fantasy, kind of in my fantasy era right now. Will always be in a horror era, but also in a fantasy era. So I'm excited to get a chance to read that. And I know that I could pick any of these books up off my shelf at any time, but I like it when the jar tells me what to read. Because lately my mood reading has all been library books, so I'm not excited to get things off my shelves. Anywho, Where Sleeping Girls Lie. This is a book that I don't own, but I want to read. Let me find my phone. It's right here. So since I don't own it, I gotta look it up on Goodreads. I can't remember the author, Where Sleeping Girls, because, oh yeah, this is gonna be hard for me to say, and I apologize, I'm probably going to really mess it up. Farida Abike. It's Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Iyamidi. I have no idea. I'm so sorry. Okay, Farida Abike Imide? I already forgot. Here, you listen.
Hi, my name is Farida Abike Imide, and I am...
Imide. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to mess that up. This author wrote Ace of Spades, which I read several years ago and loved. I gave that book a 5 stars. That was great. Where Sleeping Girls Lie is about a boarding school, and a black girl goes to the boarding school and bad things happen. I think. I don't really know. The cover is fabulous. I love the cover. I basically put this on my list because I read Ace of Spades and loved it and saw that she had another book come out and really wanted to read it. And so I don't really care what it's about. I'm just excited to read it. But that's why I don't actually know what it's about, because I just saw the author and was like, yep, I want to read that book. So there you go. That was what? One. Wow, we've already pulled 4 books. Okay, so here's our last book that we're going to pull for the month. Oh, I got hair everywhere. We've already pulled 4 books. That went by fast. These videos always go by so fast. Okay. Oh no. All right, this is our last one. Let's see what we got. This is another book that I don't own. And I really want to read it. I'm hoping I can get both of these from the library. This one is... I just closed Goodreads. This one is Something in the Walls. I can't remember who wrote that. Daisy Pierce. Again, super cool cover. Very creepy. If you can't tell, there's an eye in one of those slits in the wall. Whew. Oh yeah, this is about like a child psychologist and she's in a house. It's like a thriller horror movie? No, it's a book. This is a thriller horror book, possibly about something in the walls. Probably, because that's what the name is. Don't know very much about this one either, but the cover is immaculate. Love it. Love creepy vibes on covers. Love horror books. And have seen a couple people read this one. Some people loved it, some people didn't care for it, but I had to check it out for myself, so that's why it went in the jar, and hopefully I can get it from the library and we'll be reading it this month in August. So those are the 8 books that I plan to read in August. Obviously I'm going to be reading more books than that. Again, I have some library books out right now. I'll probably do some mood reading. Have a pretty good mix. We have some horror, we have some fantasy, we have some contemporary fiction. Is that what Audrey Hepburn's Neck is? I don't know, but I'm really excited about all of these books. I hope that I'm able to get those last 2 from my library so that I can read them. And I'm happy that out of these books, so out of the 8 books, 5 of them are on my owned TBR, physical. Well, okay. Enemies with Benefits isn't physical. It's on my Kindle. But anyway, there are 5 books off of my owned TBR because let me tell you, that list, she's getting long. Let's see, how many books do I have on my TBR? 153. Because I just added, like, in the last 2 months, it's because I've added whatever 18 plus 7 is. I can't math 18. Because in the last 2 months, I have added 25 books onto my shelves. But I got rid of 30, so, you know, it's balancing out a little bit. I gotta get to reading. All right, so these are the books that I have physically that I'm going to be reading. Audrey Hepburn's Neck from a TBR jar, pull Dungeon Crawler Carl for a buddy read with my brother, Fate Inked in Blood from a TBR jar pull, and The Hacienda from a TBR jar pull. And then Enemies with Benefits, that's for the Buzzwordathon, again on my Kindle. Then the 3 other books, Erasing History, Something in the Walls, and Where Sleeping Girls Lie, I'll have to get those from the library. But this, for once, feels like one of the most manageable TBR lists that I've had in a while because I've really been overbooking myself. Funny, because it's about books and reading and I overbooked too many books. I didn't mean to make that pun. Okay. All of a sudden, something just hit me and like, whoa, I'm tired. I want to go. So I'm going to go. All right. Have you read any of these books and what did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.